Welcome to Using Online Templates. I'm Joe Akers, the Director of Marketing, and today we're going to go through how to access the online templates, how to go through the process of setting those up and creating those and submitting those to the marketing department. First, we'll go through just some instructional slides, and then we're actually going to jump in there and do it for real so you can see in real time how it's done to make sure that when you submit the orders that they're the best they can be. So let's go ahead and just jump on in. All right, so course overview. So we're going to take a look at the design application that we currently use for the online templates. We're going to talk about procedure and workflow tips. We're going to talk about how you go, the steps to go and put together your online templates, but also some tips to help you make sure that you're ready to go and it's kind of goes off without a hitch. A few guidelines and restrictions and addresses and data if you're putting together one of the templates that would require mailing or has particular neighborhood data or something like that in it. So the design application that we use currently is Google Slides, which is there's several reasons for it. It's convenient, it's easy to use, it's part of the Google Drive ecosystem, so things integrate very well with it without having to put any plugins or downloads or anything like that. And if you're familiar with Apple hardware and software, it's very familiar to Keynote, and if you're a PC person, it's very familiar to it's very similar to PowerPoint. But like I had said before, Google Slides is what I'm using for this presentation here, and that's what it's primarily used for, but it worked out really well for us here. So when you open up Google Slides to begin with and you open up a new blank presentation, this is what you're going to see. You'll see this Google Slides interface. There's a lot of tools, but there's only a few that you really need to remember when you're working with the online templates. There's three main areas that you're going to use in the Google Slide interface, and I've got a few screenshots here. This is, you'll see when we go through the real-time presentation of an actual online template and putting that together. But the top left-hand side, you're going to be using the title field where you see Untitled Presentation. You're going to use the Share button, which you will see in the upper right-hand corner of the Google Slides interface. And you're going to use the toolbar, which you'll see at the top of the Google Slides interface when you open up your template. Now, there are a bunch of different things on this toolbar, but there's really only three main tools that you're going to use when you're working with the online templates. You're going to be using the Selection tool, the Crop tool, and the Replace Image tool. That's it. That's all you really have to worry about. So, procedure and workflow tips. There's pretty much 7 steps, and that's all there is. It may seem like a lot to some, but it's really not once you kind of get going through the flow of it. Is you're going to navigate, select, copy, name, add, proofread, and share. Now that sounds like a lot, but we're going to go through each one of those now. So in terms of navigate, step number 1, any page on the agentown.com website can be used to find the online marketing templates. That's going to be right at the very bottom, in the footer, at the very bottom of any page on agentown.com. So you'll go to navigate to AOR Marketing, and you'll select that. So now, next, select. You're going to look through all the different selections and offerings that we have available for online templates, and you're going to select the one that you might want to use, which is going to be this one right here for us. We're going to do a flyer. The next thing that you need to do, and this is very important, you cannot edit the original file. You have to create a copy in Google Drive before you can make any edits, so you need to go to File, Make a Copy. Once you do that, you'll see the screen pop up, and that's step number 4, where you're going to name your document. The proper format for naming any marketing piece is not copy of ABC. We get a lot of those, and then we don't know whose file that is. So the proper way to do that is the item, it's the flyer. It is going to be for whatever property that you're doing, and at least put your property and your name. And it can even be your last name or something. So at least we have some way to do it to figure out whose it is and where it is in case we have any questions. Step number 5 is add. So now what you're going to do is There are going to be a few locations within the template, whichever one you choose, that are editable, and you're able to go in there and change things. And text and the images are the only items that you can edit. Do not change the fonts. Do not change the colors. And if you do, we'll probably return it to you and have you correct it. And we'll kind of explain how to correct it if you don't know. But this class should help you with that. Step 6 and 7 is proofread and share. So just kind of take a look, have somebody look at it for you, make sure it's in good shape for you, because we're going to give it a cursory look, but we're not going to proofread it fully for you. But when you go to share, you're going to use that share button, which you'll see how we do that when we go through the process. But you'll use that share button and this window will pop up. You're going to send it to marketing@agentownedrealty.com, and you're going to make sure, let's look up here. You're going to make sure right here on this thing, click on that and make sure you see the pencil and can edit is available. We need to be able to, if there's a small change that we need to make, if there's a misspelling, if there's a spacing issue, we want to be able to do that really quickly instead of having to get back with you to do it or to share it with us again, that sort of thing. So just make sure that marketing@agentownedrealty.com is set to can edit. And you'll know that's there when you see the pencil. The other thing too is, if nothing else, please let us know how many you're ordering. Keep in mind also that at the very beginning of the modules that we were teaching in terms of the intro to marketing, we kind of talked about what the limitations on certain items are that are high volume orders. So just make sure that you stay within those, or we'll have to just correct that. And that's pretty much it. Then you hit send and send that to us and share it with us. And we'll be in touch with you if you find any issues that we need to take care of. Okay, workflow tips. We'll go through a few things that's going to help you to sit down, do your project, and get it sent out quickly. Because the thing is using the online templates, if there's something that you find that solves the problem and fits the need for you, once you create that and create it quickly and submit it to us, if everything looks great, then what we're probably going to do is we're probably going to just download it and print it for you, and it's done. All right. So if you don't know, we'll talk about what mise en place means. If anybody has worked in the food service industry, you'll know what it means. But this is very important when you sit down to start your project. Another thing to remember, keep in mind when you sit down, is always replace. And we'll talk about what that means. We'll talk about how to print great images and how to submit and use great images so you get the best quality printed for you. Okay, so workflow tips. Mise en place. Mise en place is French. It means everything in its place. So in the food service industry, mise en place means that you'll prep all of your food. You'll dice your vegetables and you'll get your meat marinated, and you'll get it cut up if you need to. And you'll have all of your spices and all of your cooking materials set out and ready to go so you can follow that recipe or make that meal without having to stop and run around and grab things that you might have forgotten. So the best way to go about using these online templates is to get all of your images together for that property that you're going to use. Think about the text that you're going to use, pull that up, have your address list ready to go before you submit, all of those sort of things, and keep all of that in a central location like a project folder before you start. Always replace. This is very important because I still see agents doing this and doing it incorrectly. Always use the replace image tool to add photos. Never use insert images. Printing great images. So the way I always look at printing great images is that you put garbage into the print material that you're going to use, and you're going to get garbage out. So right now we're using a screen. You're viewing this on a screen, and 72 DPI is the standard for screens. DPI stands for dots per inch. So obviously higher DPIs are going to be better. So 300 DPI, 300 dots per inch, is the standard, the industry standard for printing, at least 300 DPI. So we want to make sure that the images that we use for screen and the images that we use for print are two different things. So how can you ensure great printed images? Checker image resolution. How do you check that? Well, let's take a look. So checking your image resolution is different on a PC as opposed to Mac. So on a PC, you're going to locate the image, right-click on that image file, select Properties, then select Details. And on a Mac, you're going to locate the image, right-click on it, select Get Info, and then select More Info, and you'll see the information there. We're going to take a look right now. So on the left-hand side, you'll see a PC. And so what we've done is we've found the image, we've right-clicked on it, and we've navigated our way to the details about the image. And we can see that the dimensions are 196 by 200. Then if we look down just a little bit further at the second arrow, it's 96 dpi. So it is well above the requirements for screen. However, it's not quite where it needs to be for print. But if we look on the right-hand side, we'll see on the Mac, we've got a different setup. So you won't necessarily be able to know exactly what the dots per inch are, but we can still use the dimensions to figure out how well it will print. So both of those photos are below print resolution, but can they still be printed? Absolutely. But the question is how big can they be printed without loss of quality? Let's look at this guy on the right here, 375 by 450 pixels. Divide that by 300, and you'll remember that 300 is the standard appropriate dots per inch for printing. Once we do that division, we'll see that 1.25 inches by 1.5 inches is the maximum size we can print that without losing quality. It's a little bit more math than I like to use, but it is helpful. So let's take a look at an image that is really great, perfect for printing, and it's done, obviously, just from my experience, I can see what camera was used. It's a professional camera, but you can still get great images with something else. We know it's high resolution for two reasons. The dimensions are very high, 1667 by 2500, and the DPI is 300, which is perfect because it's the minimum for print. So if we do that math equation again and we take those dimensions and divide it by 300, we'll see that 5.5 by 8.5, almost 8.5, is the max image size that we can print without losing quality. So a few guidelines and restrictions as far as working with online templates go. Colors, layouts, and fonts, they may not be altered from their original template. If you send those to us and you've changed font colors and you've changed the layout around, we'll send that back to you because that's not how the piece was intended to be printed. So address lists and data. There are a few items in there that involve using addresses because you might want to mail a postcard. There are a few postcards that are CMAs, which have which you would enter information about a particular neighborhood that you're going to be farming. Agents are responsible for all of those things. So you're responsible for submitting properly formatted address lists to us, and we've discussed that before in our previous module. And the CMAs with the information about the neighborhoods, you're responsible for pulling those as well. If you have address lists that you're going to use to mail, you're actually going to be responsible for combining those lists into one when you send those to us and removing duplicates and things of that nature. So we don't know if someone's married, divorced, dead, that sort of thing. So it's going to be on you if you have a few different address lists that you're using and you submit those, that you combine those and remove the duplicates. Address list format. We talked about this in the previous module, but what is required is the name, address, city, state, and zip code. Zip codes must be in a separate column because that's something that we have to have so that we can process them easily. First, last name separated for upcoming marketing materials. That's a little extra credit, but it's not required. And like the previous module, we talked about where you can get an address list template to go ahead and use that so you don't have to think too much about it. And that's going to be in your info for all agents folder. And that's pretty much it. So what we're going to do now is we're going to take all of this stuff that we discussed and we're going to jump into the online template page and we're actually going to create a template ourselves just so you can see how it's done. And we'll go through some pros and cons of certain things and some mistakes that are commonly made. All right, let's go ahead. So 9 times out of 10, when you go to start using the online templates, you're going to go directly to the agent-owned page, unless you're slick and you bookmark the page just for the template so you can go right there to it. But regardless, if you go to the agent-owned website, every single page, if you scroll down to the bottom, you're going to see right here AOR marketing. Go to subdivisions. And we scroll down to the bottom, AOR marketing. So just click on AOR marketing. That's going to take you to the online templates page. So when you go on the print marketing templates page, as you scroll down, there is a huge video that's an instructional video kind of talking to you about how to do the same things we're talking about now. So if you forget, you don't have time to watch this video all the way through, this is right at the top. There's some information right when you start to scroll down that tells you a little bit about what you need to do, but we're going to go through all that here. And then as you scroll through, you'll see that there's postcards, there's variations for 1 and 2 agent in case you're co-listing something. There's same thing, flyers. There's a bunch of selections there for 1 and 2 agent flyers. We have a brand new newsletter flyer. This is not available for bulk mailing, but it's fine for you if you wanted to print it out yourself and hand out, or to make it digital and post that in your email. Then we have some 4-page brochures. We have door hangers. We also have a good deal of Facebook templates for just about any use that you might need. We also have Instagram templates, and when you open each one of these, if you look at the bottom, you'll see that there are instructions for those. And then we also have business cards. So let's go ahead and scroll up and get started on something. I think we're going to do a flyer, and we'll do a single agent flyer. Let's do one of the most common ones that we do, which is F003. So you click on that, and this is going to follow the same process that we talked about in the first part of the video. So you'll see here that when you open it up, view only is what is available, so you're not going to be able to do anything with them. You can't move anything, you can't select anything and edit, you can't do any of that. So like in the first part of the video, select File, make a copy, entire presentation. Please do not just keep this title this way. You can say something like flyer 2345 Shoreline Joe Akers. That's all you really need to do. You don't have to have the date, but if you have that, then we can easily find it and organize it for you if you have questions. So if you click on folder, if you click on My Drive, then you'll be able to actually organize it. And we talked about before mise en place, where you have everything in its place ready to go. So I've got a folder ready to go for 2345 Shoreline. I'm going to put it here. I'm going to select that's where it goes, and then I'm going to click OK, and it's going to make a copy in that folder, and so I know I can find it there whenever I need to. Okay, so it's going to load up, and you'll notice that the view only is gone, plus you have all of your tools that we talked about before. So now you can also see that there's a number of things that you can select and edit, which is a big difference. So we'll just go ahead and we'll do a few things so I can go through some of but we won't do everything. So we'll go ahead and change the name. We can go in here and change the location. We can go in here and change the price. And keep in mind too is if you have this that you've created before and you have a price change, you can navigate back to this original folder, this original file, and make those changes yourself and reshare that with us, and we'll take care of it. Okay, so here is a big thing for you guys to remember that we always see issues with. Remember in the class when I said you're always going to replace and not insert. So let's say we've done everything right up to this point. We've selected the image and we forget and we say insert image. Okay, and we're going to upload it from the computer. So I'm going to navigate to my class, to my folder, and then I want to put, let's see, this house photo where I think it should go. When I click open, this is what happens when you insert and not replace. It places it right on top of everything, and you have to figure out how to fit it, and if you can do it right, and maybe you don't quite do it, and it's all messed up, and I'm going to send it back to you. So select your image, then right click, and then you'll see replace image, upload from computer. We're already navigated to the folder where I've got everything where I need it. So you would just find the folder that has all of the photos that you want to use, select open, and it's going to place it right in there. It's kind of a bad example simply because it's the same photo, but it's going to place it right in that location, right where all of the crop marks have been. Everything's aligned perfectly. Let's do something a little bit different with this one. So right click, replace image, upload from computer. Let's do the living room here. So we click open, and it's going to place it in there perfectly, and it's cropped the way it needs to be. So let's go ahead and just jump through this really quick and put the other photo in, and then I'll show you how to adjust those once you decide you need to do that. So we're going to put that in there. Okay, so now we've got all of our photos in there perfectly. Just an aside, you do the same thing with your headshot. You would right click and replace it with your headshot. So let's say, for example, this isn't aligned the way. We want to see a little bit more of the kitchen to the right. So what you do is double click on the image, and you see how you get everything outside the crop box. That is selected, so you can either use your mouse and scoot it left or right, or you can use your cursors, and that's what I'm doing now. I'm just going to nudge it over to the right a little bit, and you'll see when it comes outside of the crop marks. But just line that back up to where you need it, click off of it, and it's perfect. Let's say, for example, this image, we want to make it a little bit bigger, so we highlight the photo, or excuse me, the TV. So what you're going to do is always grab the corners, here, here, and here. Don't grab the edges, because if you do that, it stretches your photo. So grab the corners and pull that out, and it'll do it proportionately. And then you can either use your mouse and realign it, or you can nudge it with your cursors, your up, down, left, and right cursors. And that's pretty much it. You're ready to go. Once you've put your description in here and all of your information, and you've replaced, not inserted, your photos, everything's going to look great, ready to go, and you're going to share it. So up here, you're going to share. I'm going to start to type that in. Let's see if I can spell correctly. We'll be in good shape. So marketing@agentown.com, and all you really need to put to us, send to us, is how many you need. Now there is a limit of 25, so go ahead and get your limit. So say please print 25. Then you're ready to go. Now double check that. See if it's view. You'll see the eyeball. We need it to so that we can edit it. So if there's just any slight misalignment or something, we'll take care of it. Then when you hit send, it's off. It's ready to go. And let's take a look really quick at our marketing Gmail so you guys will know it actually did make it to us. And there it is. That's how we get that. We're going to go ahead and delete that because we don't want anybody making that. But then you'll see those orders come to us right away, and then we'll take care of them. So that's pretty much it, and that will work for anything that you see. Even if you're doing the social media templates, the Facebook or the Instagram, you're still going to use the same principles. You're still going to double click on the images to adjust the image inside the crop. You're going to replace, not insert the image, so it fits right inside the crop and the alignment that we've selected for you. And then you just share it with us, and then you're all done. Okay, I hope this was helpful. If you have any questions, obviously you can ask your office admins, or you can shoot me an email and we'll try to help you as best we can. Looking forward to see your orders. Bye.